Portugal!
Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream and the podcast. How are you this morning? Some of us, most of us, I think, are now used to the 9 o'clock start. Deagle wasn't. Deagle's giving me a bit of banter, bit of Belfast banter over in the chat this morning. Let us know how you're doing in the chat, of course, this morning, and send any pictures or videos to 913, Portuguese number 00351 if you're sending from elsewhere in the world, 913-590-303. Carl Deaf on Portugal O'Clock this morning at 8:34. 9 o'clock is the new start time, and we have a new image. Dare you to show this. That's all you need to say to me, isn't it? Dare you to show this. New time, new image. Thank you very much, Paul Richards. I've never been known. Well, that's not quite muscly enough, to be honest, that picture. And I would not disrespect the British police officer's helmet in such a way. But thank you very much. 913-590-303. If you feel if you feel obliged to improve on that. Sarah, Davie, desperately trying to join us from behind the scenes. Give us a thumbs up if you're ready to join us, Sarah. I know you've got a busy day. Okay, she's ready to join us with a currency update. Election fever, certainly in the US and UK. Will it affect currency exchange rates? Let's find out now. Give her a nice big round of applause. There she is. Good morning, Sarah. How are you? Hola, bon dia.
Good, thank you. I'm in the Algarve at the moment.
Lucky you. What's it like down there this morning?
It's quite hot, a lot hot.
Really?
I think it was kind of like
9:03. You're already feeling the heat. Really?
Yeah, already moaning about the weather.
Yeah, you've only been here a few weeks. Me too, though. Don't worry about it. It does get too hot in this country, doesn't it?
But then I was talking to someone last week, and I said, "Oh, it's going to be, a lot hotter in the Algarve." But they said that it gets hotter up north. Is that true?
Yes. Well, the thing about being on the coast is you get the moderating effect of the sea breeze and the sea. Like the UK climate, I think it's just described as a maritime climate with the moderating effect of the nearby sea. Well, for most of the UK, coastal Britain. And that's the thing. When you go into Castelo Branco, into the interior, there's nothing to cool. Once it starts getting hot up there or over there, there's nothing to cool it down. So, yeah, 40 plus, very different kind of heat as well to the Algarve. So, yeah, they're absolutely right. That person should be listened to, whoever they are. They sound like they're a good guide to you in the new country. How's it all going?
Yeah, it's going really well. I can't believe it. Today I've been here 3 weeks.
Really? That's flown by, isn't it?
It's flown by.
My goodness. Wow. Look, James is pleased to see you. Sarah! He's shouting. Of course, since we last spoke, the UK have decided to have a general election. The leadership there have resigned. I don't quite know what the process. They haven't resigned yet anyway. But anyway, they called a general election. Rishi Sunak has joined a general election, called a general election July the 4th. And we know there's one coming up in the United States later on in the year. Has that affected, or have those influences and anything else affected the currency exchange rates? I guess particularly for our community, the dollar first and then the pound, and by request, any other currencies within the community here.
I think there's a couple of things. I think when something gets announced, there's always a bit of a flurry of activity in the market, and then it settles down, and there's an element of what the market prices in, what they expect to happen. And that happens with a lot of data, not just elections, even interest rate announcements, what the market's expecting the Fed or the ECB or the UK, to do. And it's sort of priced in. And really, we see more market movements when it goes against those expectations. So I think really around election times, what normally happens is certainly on the very much more lead up to it. So, we're not talking now, but a bit closer to the date that it's happening, then we see a little bit more movement because people can kind of get a little bit of a better idea. Well, not always, but, like for example, the last election, obviously with Biden, sort of a little bit closer, there's more information, or you can kind of see what's happening, and then when the result is announced, then depending on what it is, how it impacts. So for example, if it was sort of Trump, like last time, got in, it was very much a shock. So what I always see with customers is they sort of wait, and then when there's like a hive of activity, the rates are really moving dramatically, and they want to buy currency, they're not in a position to do so. They don't have, like, for example, you need an account with us, it's completely free, but if setting up puts you in a position to then take advantage of those rates. And then, even for some people, they don't have a Portuguese bank account yet either. So, or you don't have a beneficiary to pay to, but you might see a rate that's moved in your favor, or it's moving against you, and you want to buy your euros. It's all about just putting yourself in a position to do so. I think really that it's still inflation and interest rate announcements at the moment that's still at the forefront. I mean, we've seen the US dollar weaken a little bit, but more so because the US dollar is a safe haven currency. So when there's issues, especially in the global economy, or just, I suppose, wars and things like that, people retreat and buy the US dollar. But now, as they're sort of happy to take on a little bit more risk, then they'll start to sell the US dollar off, which is what we've seen a little bit of as well. Because we have had some data out of the Eurozone that hasn't been as good for, I think, the German economy, but that doesn't seem to have impacted, people selling US dollars and buying euros as much as the UK. That's really where we've seen a little bit of euro weakness and seen a better rate for sterling euro buyers, people in the UK. And again, it's all about looking at a little bit of historic data, or certainly looking at where the rate's been in the last 6 months, 12 months. Don't just look at it in the last month or even couple of months. And that gives you a better idea of really, is the rate that I'm seeing at the moment, is it a good rate for me? So for example, for me, obviously I'm from the UK and I need to buy euros. And if you look back at sterling euro over the last sort of 5 years, we've sort of touched 120, but it hasn't stayed there very long. And in my mind, again, this is not advice or guidance in any way, shape or form. It's just for my personal thing. It's just that if I can get to 120, I see that as a little bit of a win, and that's a good rate. But that's because I'm sort of looking back at the last sort of 5 years rather than just looking at it in the last month or 2 months, basically. And again, some of the thing to bear in mind is, yes, we always want to watch out for a better rate of exchange. We always want a really high rate, but sometimes it's not always possible. What is your time frames? The other side of the coin is that if the rates start moving against you, part of buying euros or looking at it is actually making sure things don't become more expensive for you. And also, if you leave it to the last minute, you're restricted then by whatever the rate is on the day. So we had a client, I think I mentioned before, that I think about probably 2 months now that I've been here 3 weeks, it's probably 2 months, time flies. They transferred euros from their account. I think it was to buy property, but they'd already bought their euros in September. And I think the difference was probably, I think it was about 3,000 euro difference, I think it was, between when they sent it out this year and when they bought it last September. So again, if they'd waited and just bought the currency about 2 months ago, they're restricted to whatever rate that is that day or that week. and you've got no choice. You have to buy your euros there.
Yes,
So if you don't like the rate, you have absolutely no choice. And I think that's the key thing. It's about giving yourself a little bit of choice and maybe watching the markets. And as I said, there may be potential that looking at it in advance could save you money.
And thank you for that. And if you are, if there is a number you like 120, but if you're suspecting volatility and you want to cut your losses, kind of, again, this isn't advice; it's just an observation. If you said, okay, I think 118, I'd be happy with 118. You can make a contract with Spartan to buy at that amount when it reaches that amount, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can watch out for that rate. And the other thing that I've seen over the years is, people want a rate of exchange. Is it realistic? And is it realistic in your time frames? So sometimes, obviously, people kind of go in with much higher, and it just might not be achievable. And while you're trying to wait for a rate that's, far above where the market's at, in the meantime, it's moving dramatically the other way. So again, it's just kind of watching the rate. But I think at the moment also what I'm seeing is that what we're dealing a lot with is not just about the rate of exchange. I know everybody focuses on that and it's key, but it is the process of moving money. We've had clients that have been trying to close on properties, and their banks, they didn't realize, and their banks have got limits on they need to pay by the end of the week, and their bank's suddenly saying, no, you've got a limit on how much you can move every day. They're never going to be able to pay for that deposit or that property at the end of the week with those restrictions. I think we've mentioned it before. Some banks have limits on, monthly, something like 70,000. So it depends who you bank with, and that's why it's key to just have those conversations in advance of any movement, especially if you're buying property and you've got a deadline to make, and just see who is it you bank with, what are the restrictions, what does that look like, because that can really impact purchases or money transfer.
Very good. Okay. Before you go, Aoife wants to speak to you, so we'll bring her on a little bit early because I think she's got a personal currency question. How good is this that you can ask your own personal currency questions when you're part of the team here? Good morning, Portugal. Nice big round of applause for Aoife, who recently back from Ireland as well. You've celebrated her birthday and had a wonderful time by the sound of it. Aoife, good morning to you.
Good morning. Yeah, I've had a very elongated birthday over about 10 days.
Nice, very nice indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, but maybe spent all your money, and you've got a money question for Sarah.
Yeah, well, it's actually for my daughter, and it's kind of flip of the coin. She's lived in Portugal all her life, so she's going to England, and she wants to know. She's looking at Revolut and TransferWise for a bank account that she can use when she's there, because it's all. She's a bit worried it's going to be quite a lot of cashless over there, and it's the first time she's going to be traveling on the trains on her own. She's 17, and I was wondering.
Wow!
Yeah,
fantastic. Well, we're sending her our best wishes and good luck for a big trip to the UK. How exciting and wonderful! On a practical
how long is she? Because I missed that. How long is she going for?
Oh, she'll only be there for 2.5 weeks.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, we still use a little bit of cash in the UK, but yeah, more in Portugal. And actually, I think since COVID as well, we went a little bit more cashless because of that. And certainly in restaurants, they stopped accepting cash. And I think they've kind of, because they put the process in place, they've just sort of carried on. So yes, it's probably easier for it to do that. I think either really, if you're just going on holiday and you're traveling about and you need a card, I would possibly, I don't know how the rates compare between the two. I'd probably go TransferWise myself just because I know that Revolut's been in the press on and off for the last, couple of years about their kind of processes internally. So, but if it's only small amounts, the risk's obviously minimal there as well.
I use both, and I think options is a good strategy, and spreading the risk, putting a little bit each one, because if you're coming this way to Portugal and you find out that somebody can actually take the card but haven't seen it before, then you've got another one up your sleeve or in your wallet or in your purse. It's quite good to have options, I think, and I've had good service with both Revolut and with Wise. And your daughter could use Spartan FX as well, I think, right? So for the exchange, and then transfer the money for the convenience sake to use the cards of each of those companies thereafter.
Yeah, we do that a lot of times. Okay. Sometimes we do that with customers as well. But as I said, for two and a half weeks, the amount of money she'll probably need is quite small, so the risk's small. But yeah, she should be able to use either card. We're quite averse to that. I think in the UK, I've seen people with a few different cards. What else? I mean, worst case scenario. I mean, for here, even myself, I still have my UK bank card. It's still use that. So there's always backup plans anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. She's never had a bank account at all, so
wow.
All right, okay, fair enough.
If we can do we can go with you. I'll go with you, and we could talk privately or whatever. I'd take your advice, really.
No problem. Well, let's catch up. I'll give you a call.
Deals being done on the breakfast show. Fantastic. Don't go anywhere. Stay where you are. I know, Sarah, you've got to go, but some nice messages for you. It was really nice meeting you at the Storytellers Palace last week. You've been here 3 weeks. That seems like, I don't know, like 2 months ago, doesn't it? Time is flying, isn't it? It's lovely.
It is, and I've been all over, to be honest. As I said, I have to keep reminding myself that I do live here now, and there is plenty of time to explore. But it is very exciting to see different sort of areas, and this is the first time actually I've been in the Algarve. It's just a short trip, but I want to come back and sort of see that area. And I was in the Storytellers in San Martino de Porto. Was it Caldas d'Arena?
Caldas d'Arena,
Tumar, which was lovely as well. Very different. It's interesting how different it is. And also when I was driving to the Algarve, there's just quite a lot of space with nothing. There's a sort of middle part that's just uninhabited at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. And we find out in the last 24 hours that there are 1 million foreigners living in Portugal. You and I might discuss that, Aoife, when Sarah's left us this morning. Before you do go, though, Sarah, greetings from a sunny hero. I don't know if he's calling himself a hero or that's a typo of some sort, autocorrect. Greetings from a sunny hero, hot and sunny, getting up to 33 centigrade in the Algarve later this week. Thanks for that weather report there. And watch out for an email from Michael later on. And a nice little testimonial before you go as well, Sarah. Spartan Effects is fantastic. Highly, highly recommend them. They're more than a service. They're a family. Isn't that lovely? Oh, and João Ernesto do Norte, to give him his full name this morning. There's always a cash machine nearby as well. If she wants to pull out some cash, that's for your daughter there. Cash as backup is handy. Yeah, so a selection of cards, a bit of cash, and that should do the trick, shouldn't it, over there in the UK? Once in a while, you have a place that only takes cash or only takes a Portugal bank card. That will be over here, of course. And
it's probably a case of, small cafe or if there's markets. But what I've noticed more recently, some of the markets, they have little card machines now, like little
virtual thing that goes on the phone.
Yeah, and they're kind of using their phone to sort of hook that up. So it is changing.
It is changing for sure. Okay, but options I think is the key here. Sarah, have a great day. Any particular towns you're going to in the Algarve?
I'm in Quinta do Lago.
Oh,
at
very
the
nice.
moment.
Yeah.
I went to, and that's it really. I went to Lobo.
Yes, you are
only because I've heard a lot about them, so I just sort of drove around. There's some very big houses, but I think it's just a short trip. But I know I spoke to Veronica because she's more east, close to the Spanish border. Yeah. And I'm keen to travel around there and see what that's like.
Message from her. Have a beautiful day. This time of year is just spectacular. Beautiful sunsets and warm breezes. Hugs from Veronica. I believe she calls that the Golden Triangle where you are. It's a very special part. It's a little kind of community within the Algarve community. And of course, the Algarve community is a community within the Portuguese community as well. The third autonomous region, some say. Have a great day, Sarah. We'll see you again soon. And thank you so much for popping in this morning.
No problem.
Bye. Bye, Sarah. Good luck. Good luck.
Right, Aoife, what do you make of this news then? A number of foreigners living in Portugal surpasses 1 million. Quite interesting, isn't it? We will get on to the Chill Out Tuesday matters a little bit later on when Marion joins us. I think I've ruffled Marion with using a a kind of an English metaphor, and very much in my own way. I talked about, because she wants to talk about rusty relationships and introduce her ABC idea. I scaled that up to, personal relationships, relationship with the country. If you've got any rusty relationships at all, I imagined that Engineer Geray was going to join us with her can of virtual WD-40 and give you a bit of a squirt to get the rusty relationships, stopping them squeaking and making them run a little more smoothly, which was a metaphor that didn't work especially well. Just basically lubrication on anything that's rusty this morning. And you might be talking about that as well, right, with self-care and self-love. But before we go there, how about this? I think when you came to Portugal, it was nothing like this. The foreign population has doubled in a very short time here in Portugal. So let's find out a little bit more about it. For the first time, Portugal's resident foreign population has surpassed 1 million, having grown 33%. That's big, isn't it? Between 2022 and 2023, a record 329,000 residency permits were granted. Believe it or not, in 2023, according to Jornal de Noticias, which cites data from Portugal's new Integration, Migration and Asylum Agency, IMA, a record number of that 329,000 residency permits were attributed last year, 130% increase compared to the year prior. Only 38,000 of these permits were attributed to citizens of other European nations, adds JN. And in the last 5 years alone, this is where you might want to comment, Aoife. In the last 5 years alone, the number of foreigners living in Portugal has more than doubled, skyrocketing from around 500,000, 480,000 at the end of 2018 to 1.4 million in 2023. Do you have any idea how many there were when you first came over, and when was that?
I don't have numbers, but I know you can feel it. There's people everywhere. You go in the supermarket now, there's American voices, there's English voices. Obviously, been here this long. Have you not noticed it as well?
Oh, definitely.
It's Dutch people, American people, not so many English in the last few years, I wouldn't say. They're kind of more turbulent, the English. They kind of...
Coming and going, yes.
Yeah, come and go. It seems to be a bit more even with the English. Enough go to enough coming in, whereas the American and Dutch seem to be coming in droves at the moment.
That's in your part of the country, is it, especially?
Yeah. I've got 2 sets of Dutch neighbours on either side of my house in the last year.
Very interesting, very interesting. And I guess some of those people might have been here for years, but it's because of the general phenomenon. You're noticing them more now. When was it you arrived in Portugal?
2008.
2008. Wow. So you've been here some time, and presumably there weren't that many American voices or Dutch voices in the supermarket, and you were very much a foreigner. What was that like back in those days?
It was interesting. There was PP Property, you know them?
Oh yeah, yeah. They're still
here. And there was another lady with 2 children and another couple with 2 children. Like I can count these on my hand, and we'd all meet outside the school gates and have a coffee or whatever. It was a lot quieter, a lot quieter. Yeah. Wow. But it was nice. But now there's gangs of kids and gangs of, different nationalities.
Gangs of foreigners roaming the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, fair play to Portugal. This is an extraordinary amount of people to be managing, and a cultural phenomenon to be managing. I think, for our point of view, it's very important, isn't it, to be a good foreigner and fit in as best you can. And we're very keen to take the counsel of our Portuguese friends here on that note. What are your observations on that? You've taken it to an extremely high level of integration, haven't you? You worked in the Bombeiros. You're fluent in the language. It's quite amazing, your personal integration here. What would you recommend to others?
They've got to learn the language, and the kids have to learn the language. I think you could really isolate, depending on what age you bring your children here.
Yes.
I think if you bring them here over, say, 8 or 9, obviously my kids are 17 and 20 now, and I've just watched kids struggle, and then they do a couple of years, and then they end up moving back to England or this or that. And I think that's really essential, is possible. I think going to Portuguese mainstream school is very important. If you're going to be here, if you want to integrate and you want to socialise your children.
Yep.
That's a personal opinion. I know there's lots of home education schools and things like that.
No,
but
fair
then
enough.
if you're in a little foreign group, which I was in personally, myself, I was in that kind of little foreign group and brought up within that in Ireland. It was a very
okay.
West Cork
you
hippie English group.
yes, I know the Steiner School there. I know that bit of Cork. Well, so
Yeah.
you've got those two situations to compare then. Your own children here in Portugal and your own experience as a child moving to Ireland to be in that sort of situation in that little bubble. Very interesting indeed. Wow.
So with me, myself, I was in Irish normal school, like with my mum. My mum's Irish.
Yeah.
Until I was 7. Then she met an English New Age traveler, I suppose you'd say. And then we traveled, and I went to, between then and 14, I went to 8 different schools.
Did you?
So,
really?
yeah, we were learning how to do Flint. I was at Steiner School, then I was at this school. That's, wherever we went.
Yeah.
And that has a degree. It's a different kind of lifestyle. It's a different choice.
Yes.
But for me personally, because I had that, I wanted to bring my kids up in one creche, one jardin infancia, one school, and they've stayed Alvaiazere creche, Alvaiazere infant school, then they went to high school in Alvaiazere, and then they went to Ancião and Pombal. My oldest daughter went to Ireland for a year because you can do equivalencia, which is like a 4th year, it's 10th year in Portugal. It's transitional year in Ireland, and they can actually go to Ireland because I am Irish. And she went there for a year, and that was really good for her. But I think it depends on the children.
Yeah.
It depends how you want to integrate. I'm very close with my neighbours as well. We speak. That's how I learnt my first Portuguese, was flashcards, having dinner with my neighbours.
Wow.
We just had the Portuguese. It was Elizabeth Smith. She has a really good CD. And we just wrote Portuguese, English, and we just sat with them. We'd have dinner, and we'd sit with them in the evenings, drinking a bit of wine and cheese.
Ooh, perfect.
Yeah, that's kind of how our Portuguese really came on. And then the Bombeiros just getting submerged in it. But the kids can go to the Bombeiros, the kids can go to ballet, the kids can go to karate. I think it's just important to integrate them and not get them too stuck in a little foreign group.
Yes, yeah, very good, very interesting. Thank you for that. And for the grown-ups, drink wine, get flashcards.
Oh, another good thing is you can program your television. Like we got Mayo satellite for when the kids were younger, because we'd go back to England and they wouldn't speak very much Portuguese in some holidays.
Yes.
Yeah, because they are in the international groups, and they'd only go to a few birthday parties or have a few friends that were Portuguese. So we changed the television to Portuguese, so they had to watch it in Portuguese.
Yeah, very good.
Until they became teenagers and changed it, but
Yes, I mean that's the problem, is they get better and better, don't they, with each generation at managing the technology, and they're showing you how to change the channel rather than vice versa. Thank you for that. Very interesting as we see those figures. Nearly 1 in 10 now. That number that's quite a threshold, isn't it? A milestone of 1 in 10 people being foreign. Here in Portugal, but over 1 million now in total. What an amazing social experiment. Let's do our bit, shall we, each of us, to make that a good transition, because anywhere in the world it's not an easy thing, I think, bringing huge numbers of people together, and I think it's possible here in Portugal for that to be an amazingly successful thing, if we're conscious and mindful about what we're doing rather than ignoring any of the difficulties that it brings with it, because there are difficulties, let's face it. That number of people, immigration anyway, I think brings its challenges, but when you do it in a volume like that, it brings additional challenges, and we've all got our part to play in that. We're going to bring Marion on in about a minute to talk about rusty relationships and her ABC approach, and we'll connect that with your self-love, self-care as well there, Aoife, if we may. Sorry, you were going to add something.
Yeah, I was going to say about nourishing yourself. I've always got a few notes and a few ideas for your show, and I was wondering if anyone had made any elderflower cordial, because it's time to make elderflower cordial at the moment.
It's that time. Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah. And there's a couple of things that you can get out of the garden that are free, because we're on, we're talking about health and things to chill you out. So I hope people make elderberry cordial as well, because that's got lots of antioxidants and vitamins, and it boosts your immune system. So I always try and even how many flowers I pick for the cordial to make sure I've got some berries for the autumn.
Okay, very good. When you freeze those, do you?
No, you just make it. If just look up online elderberry cordial and
Oh, okay, you make it now and then have it later. I see. I've got you.
yeah,
Yeah.
elderflowers you make now, and elderberry you make in the autumn.
And with the elderflowers, you can make a cracking fizz, can't you?
Yeah.
Which is a little bit alcoholic the longer you leave it as well. Very nice.
Exactly. And there's another free thing in the garden. The borage flowers. I don't know if anyone's noticed they've gone crazy this year. I don't know if you have them. Starflower.
We do sometimes. And the bees love them. The bees come for the borage, don't they?
Yes, they absolutely love them. But you can actually get that as a supplement. So why not take it out of your garden? So I've always believed, I was told years ago, 5 a day keeps the doctor away.
Yep.
Okay, and it helps with your hormones. It helps with PMS, mood swings, irritability, calming, and it's rich in essential fatty acids, and it helps with anti-inflammatory. So, and the 5 stars have been represent air, fire, water, earth, and spirit.
Ooh, so it's a very special. We're talking about borage now, aren't we? That's a very special.
Borage. Yeah, and I picked a load yesterday, and I put it in my ice cubes.
Very nice. That's a beautiful addition, isn't it? So thoroughly edible then, the borage. And I'll just bring up the images. We'll talk to you in a minute, Marion. Let me just bring the borage flowers onto the screen so you know what we're talking about. If in doubt, don't eat any old thing in the garden, but maybe get some help. Obviously, Aoife knows what she's doing. You don't want to be eating things like the old, the thing that looks like cow parsley, but isn't. Can't remember what it's called now. But be a little bit careful. Maybe get a little bit of help from a Portuguese neighbour. That's probably your best bet, isn't it? And there we go. That beautiful flower you're talking about there. Don't
eat the hairy bit. It's just the blue flower bit. You have to pinch it off.
I think that's good advice in life generally. Don't eat the hairy bit. Okay, let's get rid of that. And, excellent advice, everybody. Let's give her a nice big round of applause and bring her onto the screen. Marion Geray, good morning to you. Good morning. Bon dia.
Guten Morgen. Bom dia. How are you?
I'm well, and I'm sorry if I caused you any stress talking about WD-40, Marion.
Maybe you can just let me know what you're talking about.
It would help, wouldn't it?
It would help, because I had a little bit of a time problem this morning, and now you came up with the WD-40, and I wanted to talk about ABC dating. So please get us on the same page.
Let's get on the same page. Now, I'm sure, I'll bring this image onto the screen just so we can deal with this once and for all and get it out of the way. Any kind of toolkit should have this in it. And I was basically making a lubrication metaphor. There are 3 things that are needed in a gentleman's toolkit, or not to be sexist about it, anyone's toolkit. WD-40 cable ties and gaffer tape or duct tape. WD-40 has got a little nozzle there you can see on the far right picture. And if anything's a bit rusty, you spray a bit of this WD-40 on, which I think used to be literally fish oil back in the day. And now it's some other kind of mineral compound, I think. But it's perfect for all manner of things. It's good for cleaning. It's good to have it in your little cleaning kit as well around the house because it gets adhesive off as well. So that's all. I was sorry that went off on a quite a strange tangent, Marion, with that. But it's basically a lubrication.
Okay. I think, so this is good for your household and all the other things. So,
every house should have one.
Exactly. Okay, great. I will have one soon too, okay?
Please, you will thank me later. Seriously, there will be a moment in your life where you think, this is a moment for WD-40, and this is what Munson was talking about. You'll squirt it on, and it'll be like, wow, he was right. He was absolutely right about this. But we haven't come to talk about household matters of that kind. We're talking about relationships, aren't we? We're talking about rusty relationships and your ABC dating system. And Aoife's joining us, of course, on that note to talk about self-care, self-love. So all about the relationships with oneself, one's closest, and the community and the country even. It's all the same kind of energy, is it not?
Mm-hmm. And it's not only what may the people hear right now or think, it's not only the couples,
Right, yes.
It's also with your children, you can do that, or you can do it with your girlfriend, singles as well, it's no problem.
Yep.
So, but have you already explained the ABC dating, Carl?
I'm as clued up on ABC dating as you are on WD-40. So I'm hoping for your help with
Let me
this.
now change. Okay, so let's
Now I'm stressed.
now bring the people. Let's change the perspective now, please.
Yes, let's do it.
ABC dating. Okay.
Yes.
It is the idea. It's a tool. Yeah, it's a simple tool. And why are we doing this? Why do I recommend it? Doing this we are able to add some extra excitement to our relationships.
Perfect. I'm in.
Spice up a little bit, get out of the routine, although rituals are important, for our overall day, but just get some more, pepper, spices into the relationship. So
nice. Yeah.
So what is it about? Imagine Aoife and Carl are married since 25 years. And it became a little bit...
25 years, Aoife. How about
25
that?
Years, yeah.
Role playing.
This happens.
And I refer to her as her, don't I? And,
okay.
and these sorts of things occur, don't they, after 25 years?
And you as a couple, you have been in my coaching session because you wanted some change. Okay.
Spice, pepper.
So, and then we said, okay, so Carl will start with the A.
Okay.
And you are setting up an idea what you can do the next Sunday with your loved one.
Right.
And that can be an activity. This can be an activity or a place.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So imagine, so you are going for the first Sunday, and the week later, Aoife will do the B.
Okay.
And she will make up an activity or going to a place, starting with a B.
I see. Okay, very good. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we can do one example. Carl, imagine you are starting with the A.
Yep.
What comes up into your mind?
I was going to say Alvaiazere, but obviously that wouldn't be much fun.
That wouldn't be very exciting, would it?
Sorry, and that's why we're in such a state after 25 years, because that's the quality of my ideas.
No, but it should not be causing any stress on the people, yeah? But my recommendation is always keep it as simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
What comes up in your mind hearing an A?
And it could be
abseiling.
Huh?
It's my turn, Aoife. It's my turn. You'll get your turn next weekend.
I said you are the B. You can think about the B. It's Carl's turn now, okay?
Yes, my turn. Marion said it's my turn.
So I didn't hear anything so far.
No, I'm just trying to have my say here. No one's like this, Right. And it doesn't have to be a place. It can be an activity.
Anything. For the first round, I may help you and not want to disappoint our audience. It's like, why don't you bake with her an apple pie?
Yeah. Okay. That's good. I
Very
will bake
easy.
an apple pie with her. Okay.
So you buy 5 apples, and then you go in the kitchen, and then you say, "Oh my God, where is what?" And so it can be fun. Yeah.
Yes, and particularly good for the male mind, I think, because you're activity focused, aren't you, rather than having to sit down and talk about the relationship.
The only thing is it should be something different.
Yes. Okay.
To
our normal regime. Okay. Yeah. Apple pie will be good.
If Aoife has now the B, what comes to your mind?
I'm nervous.
I'm thinking of like a ballet, but like an English dance. So yeah.
Okay.
Really? You're taking me folk dancing?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
That starts with an F, not with a B. I'm sorry.
Ballet.
Okay.
A particular kind of dance. We are belaying. I thought that was a rock climbing thing.
I like that one. Very good. Yeah.
Why do you like hers more than mine?
I'm the woman. I'm full of great ideas.
Okay, so you can do this now every week, or you can say, because still people are working or traveling, you can also do it monthly.
Yes. Okay.
I know back home in Germany, when we moved from China to Hamburg, we did it with our 2 children. And we set places and activities to get to know Hamburg, the city where we never lived together. So, so that's also a good approach to, and when you're new in Portugal, then you do not only go to the beach, when you have beach, B for bar. So that's what you do anyway. So what about going somewhere else and do some bird watching? You know, at the Lagoa, we have, in Óbidos, we have 175 different birds. Nobody knows.
Quite. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So
this is also good, a tea for, why don't you go to Tomar with the family?
Yes.
Yeah? And it's very funny when the kids come up. My boys always said, I only want to have F for football. They always wanted to play football or watch a football match. And so they were also encouraged to think about other activities.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Going to a ballet. Says, oh no. But it was quite, you know, it's enriching. So this is the tool about. So you enrich and get some spice in, and it can be fun. Yeah. If it's not stressing.
Yeah, of course. And so the part of it is the space, isn't it? You've made a space in which to consciously think about what you're going to do, and then you think about what you're going to do, and it becomes a routine and a way of being somewhat different to the normal routine of life.
Yeah, and it is very important that we have. It does not have to be expensive, you know. Yeah, it can be. What I also heard from a lady, she said, "N for Norway, N." We did a napping together, nap time.
Yes.
In the afternoon, that was so lovely, you know. 20 minutes, we don't talk, we hold our hands, and we just nap.
Oh, that sounds really nice, doesn't it?
Yeah. But my favorite one, my very favorite one is, now it comes, it is Y, the letter Y. It is one partner. So imagine you have Y, Carl, and you tell to Aoife, today it is yes to all. You say yes.
Oh my goodness.
There's no.
Yes day. There's a movie of the same name, isn't it? You make it a yes day. Okay, right, but no stress.
And then you can see how many times you would say, I'm hesitating, I don't want, I have excuses, blah blah blah. So, but it is, you don't have to, because it is a yes day.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Now, possibly it could get a bit sticky and awkward, couldn't it, with some of these things? And that's when, you know, this is the upside, isn't it, of doing new things together. And it might pinpoint some of the difficulties in the relationship that might need a little bit of third-party insight. So, is that what do you do couples counselling as well as one-to-one, Marion?
Yes.
Okay, so they might be doing this exercise, and then when it gets to yes day or something like that, something flares up, and that's something you could take offline and have a chat with your couples counsellor about, right?
Exactly.
Right,
and that is, you know, it's all about communication.
Of course.
That someone and becoming creative. So think outside of your autopilot, you know, which you turn on at 7 a.m. in the morning. We do all our things, and we know in the meantime, after Aoife self-care, you know, we take care of ourselves and we eat a clean diet and everything. But it's also, we have to keep up and work on the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And this means we can, so you come up with an idea, so we experience this together, and then you give some feedback.
Very good. Morning to you, Jackie, who loves this, loves the sound of the alphabet trip. Sorry, if you're going to add something there.
No, it's essentially important. I think you've been married for a long time, Carl, haven't you? And it's coming up 20 years this autumn. Yeah. And people go, wow, you're still happy, and how's it work? And I remember someone telling me a long time.
What do people like, eh? I mean, isn't it funny that it's like, oh yeah, well done, mate. It's like pat on the back. I don't know how you did it. It's fantastic. I mean, people have such low expectations, haven't they?
I've been to therapy, like I swap treatments with people and do some psychology or numerology, and most of them expect me to come in and go, oh, he's been an asshole. He's been like this. No. And I don't generally, because we've got to a place where we support each other and we compromise and we don't sweat everything and we let some things go. And I think that's the key, them three things. Yeah. And they go, well, you want to moan about your husband. And I go, well, no, I don't really have much to moan about, really. We get on. That's why we're still together. You know?
Yes, well said. So we had the ABC of dating, and you've got the 1, 2, 3 there. Could you run that past us again? What's your 1, 2, 3?
My one?
No, this was Aoife's 1, 2, 3. One was
compromising, not sweating everything. What was the third one?
Even easier.
Forgetting things.
Forgetting things. That's the third thing, isn't it? Brilliant. So ABC and 1, 2, 3. Any other insights from our community are very welcome as well. We'll come back to you both, obviously, on this because it's really useful. WD-40, just so you know, that was originally created to protect the outer surface of missiles from rust and corrosion. My goodness, okay. And trivia answer, WD-40 is the water displacement 40th formula that made it to the market in the end. And with ABC dating, I thought she meant the American Broadcasting Company. That was certainly news for me. No, relax. ABC, airway, breathing, circulation, first aid, or dating, all good. To life, says Paolo Ricardo there. And yeah, good to see you this morning, Jackie Bondia Gumpers. And can't find it. He's still looking for his like button, I think, possibly over there. Talking of finding your like button, self-care, looking after yourself. Aoife, did you want to add a bit more about that?
Well, yeah, Marion, I don't know if you've ever done any tapping.
Yes, we did tapping. We did
it live on the show. We did it live on the show.
We did it live on the show.
That's all I was going to add to possibly stressful rusty relationships, and if things were bothering you, that we could do a little bit of tapping.
Always do a bit of tapping.
We could do a little bit of tapping. It might be slightly different because there's lots of different ways to do it.
Can I suggest that as a way of concluding the show this morning? So should we have a little bit of a tap fest on our around 10 o'clock, just before 10 this morning? It'd be a nice way to have the memory of the show lingering in people's minds as a nice, pleasant, relaxing thing this morning on Chill Out Tuesday. Great to see you both, and Sarah, of course. This is the Chill Out Tuesday crew. And on that note, anything else? Because it's a very busy time of year, isn't it? When the things you're talking about, I think, can be under a little bit of a challenge. I mean, presumably you see this, Marion, with couples and with people. It's great to be busy in springtime, but that means some other things can get squeezed or forgotten about.
Yeah, but springtime is the time where you should look at the nature and what is doing the nature. They are starting to grow and blossom, And this is the time when we rethink, what do we want to continue and what do we want to maybe leave behind?
Oh, good question.
Yeah. So this is the question which I always tell the people in April, May. And I did a tour with 3 ladies from Germany around the Lagoa and the Atlantic last week. And they were really overwhelmed about the idea going outside and having 17 kilometers of walk and just walk in the nature. And they were just, the other way around, and they felt differently. It was really
sounds amazing.
Very nice.
And go on, Aoife. Sorry.
Can I share something I did? Talking about going outside in nature, I did something very special for my as part of my birthday week. We went on a nighttime hike up near Abascal, and then there's lots and lots of old caves there. And then we had some sound therapy within the caves and a guided meditation. It was absolutely beautiful, and all the starlings and swallows were coming in. There was a couple of little bats trying to come in, and it was gorgeous. We were there from 7 till we got home about 11.
How amazing! Did
really special?
Is this something that this person does regularly, or did you order it and bring it together?
This was the first time. I reckon it will happen again, so I can send you some info.
Please do. So some sound healing and a nighttime walk, and you were definitely, as Marion says, they're connecting and communing with nature. Sounds amazing.
Yeah. Just when you said that, I just thought I've got to share that. That was such a lovely, and it wasn't. It's even open for people that are not really into that kind of thing. Yeah, my husband isn't into sound therapy and all that kind of stuff, and he said he really enjoyed it. I got him to come because it's my birthday. There's the compromising.
Well, that's S. Is S on your ABC dating? We are doing sound healing on this particular slot.
Fantastic, So introducing other things to the partner. That's fantastic. My favorite one is reenact your first date.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Reenact your first date. I'm well up for that.
Reenact your first date. Oh, when was that again? What did I wear? I mean, you all have heard about remarrying, that you have a remarrying, re-wedding ceremony.
Yeah. Even
popular.
To like normally, you're in your gardening clothes, you're in your normal clothes, or you're kind of not the clothes I would have worn 25 years ago. So I got some really nice, smart white jeans, really tight, and we went out on a date. That was brilliant.
That's a great idea, isn't it? Really
That's
like
awesome.
that.
It's my second favorite. Okay, so I think we got many ideas now. The rest, the people have to be creative, and I'm
Yes.
sure they are. Try out.
Yes. Okay, I'm just thinking about the first date would be fantastic. Do that with the person you did the first date with, because people don't like it when you reenact a first date, but with a different person. Someone told me once, right? Yeah. Okay. Can I just probe a bit more about the sound healing? You said your husband wasn't wouldn't be his first choice, perhaps not his kind of thing to do at the weekend. But what was it exactly? I mean, people probably think they have an idea of what it is. I think I've got an idea of what it is, but I'm not sure. So, what does it actually look like when you're having a sound healing session, Aoife?
So he had some crystal bowls in different colors that relate to the chakras, and then he has a stick that goes around and it vibrates, and it kind of goes woo, 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 but in different vibrations. So he had about 3 or 4. Obviously, he couldn't carry too much up to the cave. It was quite a lot of equipment. And then, he had some other koshi, which they're all crystals, and coconut chimes, I suppose, is the best way to describe them to people that wouldn't know. There's some crystal bars where you tap like xylophone. That was it. It didn't have any super magic crystal bowls. They're just quite normal crystal bowls, and he's just very good at doing it. And then the lady guided us through a meditation, which was focusing on, again, leaving behind things, because it's that springtime and getting rid of all that energy from the winter, and it was going into being a phoenix and rising from the ashes.
Very good.
And they actually had an egg, and they had some ashes in the middle, which was quite interesting.
The symbolism was there as well.
There wasn't any chat. We did a really silent walk, so it wasn't any conversation. We went up there, and then we all explored the caves while they set up with their sound bowls and their few little things they had to set up with. And then we just all sat down, and that was a couple hours. And even after the sound had finished, and the meditation had finished, it went on. Then we just sat listening to the birds and watching the sunrise go down for a good half an hour, 40 minutes after. And then we all just bimmed off. It was very quiet.
Sounds amazing. What is this area? And are those caves open for public access?
Yeah. It's fine. It's Rabashgal. I can send it to you privately. Yeah, I can. It's Burakus. I'd never heard of it before.
Please share this in our group.
Yes.
That sounds great. And then Carl, you can share it with everyone.
But what is more interesting to me, Aoife, when are you starting the sound healing in Portugal, in our area?
I don't do sound healing myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Okay, we'll conclude with a bit of tapping this morning, which should be a nice way to send everybody off onto their day. A couple of things we haven't done yet, and that'll be the God Score tip of the day. More self-care here, which is fantastic. Thank you very much, Coach Turner, for being with us earlier on. Here you go. WD-40 fixes most problems. Bom dia todos e feliz terça. Training and coaching later on, but coffee first. Though the forecast is threatening rain, umbrellas may be needed. The Prime Minister of UK needed one of those the other day. God Score tip of the day, then. I often find my lower back feels tight, particularly after training. So to help it, I started with legs a couple of feet apart and slowly bend down to try and touch the ground, then slowly back up and with my arms above my head, lean backwards. Oh, it's yogic almost, isn't it? I do that 3 or 4 times, and it seems to release the muscles. It's important to do this slowly, of course it is, or you risk muscles going into spasm. Take it easy. I'm sure Marion would have something to say on that from a Qigong Tai Chi perspective as well. Mindful moment, surrender to what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. Sonia Ricotti. Very good. Thank you for that. And a mindful dad joke. Let your mind be as a floating cloud. Let your stillness be as the wooded glen, and sit up straight. You'll never become a Buddha with a posture like that. Very good. And a couple of visuals from James as well. Thank you for these this morning, James. This isn't from James, but I liked this one. You're not too old to start over. You're too old to keep doing what isn't working. How about that? That's pretty powerful, isn't it? And your memes this morning, ban pre-shredded cheese. Here we go. The big reveal. Make America great again. Very good. Okay, and just one more before we do a bit of tapping. Oh, and I've got to tell you about what's going on with the Portugal Club tonight. We blame black cats for crossing our path, for causing bad luck. They do. Black cats are seen as bad luck in Portugal, interestingly, but we never consider the possibility that the path we were on was already unlucky and that the cat was warning us to take another. Very interesting there. Tonight at 8:30 on the Portugal Club, he's looking very serious there. Barack, Lord Travanca will be joining us. Unplugged, real life story from Texas to Portugal. He flew his horses over, among many other things and plot twists coming over to Portugal. We have an audience with him from Texas tonight at 8:30 if you're a Portugal Club member. That'll be funny. Now, as we did a bit of tapping here, I've got a question for both of you. Why do we talk about taking a deep breath? Why do we not talk about giving a deep breath? Because it's actually a gift to ourselves, isn't it? And it's all about the taking, isn't it? Consumer society taking a big breath. Why don't we give a big breath? Stunned silence.
Yeah, thought thinking there for a moment. Don't forget to breathe in. This is what I say to people. That's, you're going to breathe out, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, hopefully both. And
yeah, but that's going to happen more automatically.
Which one? Which one are we talking about?
You've got to remember to breathe in.
Yes.
You're going to breathe out.
Consciously. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I always say to people in my yoga, in my therapeutic movement classes.
I think it is. May I?
Yeah.
Of course.
It's for me. It is coming from the Qigong. It is breathing. Not only here, in the chest area, you breathe in and you try to go down to the belly button.
Yes.
And even 3 fingers below the belly button. And this is where we have to be in the day.
I'm there now.
I'm there now, Carl. Okay, well done, well done.
What do you call it in Qigong? What is that spot? Which chakra?
This is your Dantian.
Dantian, that's right. I remember now.
This is the Dantian and this is your center. And if we are not focusing and taking care of our Dantian and we are stop breathing up here at the chest area, this is not healthy. And this will give us, then we are running out of breath and everything. So this is not healthy, right?
Very good. So may I make a suggestion then, as a very beautiful therapeutic end to today's program on Chill Out Tuesday? Could you do a bit of tapping for us, Aoife? And then Marion, would you do a bit of breathing for us? Could we do that as a little combo to see us into the day?
Yeah, we can. Just to add to the breath work, when I do craniosacral work, we call it the breath of life. And it's every cell, we have this movement, the whole body is moving all the time, even the cells, the spinal cord. It's like this amazing mechanism that works with the breath and the movement, and we're always moving.
Aren't we? It can't be helped, can it?
No.
Wow. But we can do it more. We can do it more or less consciously, can't we?
The reason I thought to do some tapping today was because I thought we were talking about like rusty, bad relationships, and I thought, okay, that might be stressing you out.
Well, please do.
I suggest we do the tapping with Aoife because I'm not a friend of mixing up different kinds of practices.
Well, fair enough. Okay, well, maybe do that.
We can do it next month.
Yeah,
okay.
Perfect.
And maybe if we can all think of something that stresses them out, like this morning for me, it's cars. Okay, I don't know if that stresses people out in Portugal when your car breaks down, and we have 3 cars now for when one breaks down. But my mother-in-law is here and she's using it today. So I've taken my husband to work just before the program started after towing his car and all this stuff. So I thought. For me, I'm going to think of that because that stresses me. So if everyone can think of something that they feel, and I just want you to feel how you feel with that thing that maybe stresses you. Maybe it was your kid last night. Maybe it's the thought of making dinner. Sometimes that stresses me out. It's what am I going to cook? It's not the actual cooking. It's what am I going to cook? Is everyone going to like it? some relationship, or maybe the neighbour's dog's annoying you. Just something very simple. If everyone thinks of something, and just give it a bit of feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed they would feel about it, how reactive they would feel to that problem. So just sit with that for a moment and give it a number so we can really see if this works. Well, I'm not going to talk through this tapping, so I'd like everyone to just follow me. First, we're going to go in an anti-clockwise direction, which is de-stressing, around your chest. If you look at me like this, so you're going in the right direction, and we're just going to do this 10 times.
And which clock face direction on the chest?
Go towards your right shoulder.
Oh, okay. Heading towards the right shoulder.
That's it. And just, that's it. And just take a couple of breaths with that. And then we'll just move into some small taps, either with your fists or your fingers, just all around your clavicle, around your chest. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we come above your eyebrows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to come under your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to do chin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'd like you to cross your hands, and just by your clavicle, we're going to tap here 10 times as well. Okay, now relax your hands and keep your head still. I want you to look to your left and look to your right with your eyes. If I come right like this. That's it. And do 10 on each side.
Oh.
Okay, and then we're going to do some head movements. We're going to look to the right, look to the left. And always look straight ahead, not down, not up, not down at your phone. Try and keep it nice and straight. That's it. And then bring yourself back to neutral, and I'd like you to take a really nice deep breath with your eyes closed. And then say, I am okay.
I am okay.
Now bring yourself back to that feeling, what you had at the beginning, and what was stressing you. Now do you feel any different?
Pa is what I say to that. Feeling gone.
A bit distanced from it, aren't you?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The dull chairs have dissipated. Thank you very much to you, to Sarah earlier on. I can barely speak and be bothered to do this now. But anyway, thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Marion. Good manners are important, though, aren't they? Thank you very much indeed. And let's breathe. If we can possibly do that breathing exercise and learn more about the Dantian, that'd be awesome next time, Marion. So
may I add one more thing? Please. You cannot breathe for other people. You are in charge of your own breathing practice. But you can take, of course, other one's breath away, which is also very nice, right?
Ooh, takes me back to the first date that you suggested.
So this goes into, so this is my closing today. Take someone's breath away, but you have to practice your own breath.
Yes. Well said.
Carl, if people would like some free breath work that's online, it's called Alchemy of Breath. Every Sunday they do. It's 9:30 in the morning and 5 p.m. You can just log on, and sometimes there's like 400 people joining.
Really,
It's-
just all breathing nicely together. The alchemy of breath, did you say?
Alchemy of Breath. They're amazing.
Well, let's not forget to promote your sites as well. Art of Unwinding would be your website as well. The Art of Unwinding, and of course, walksperia.com for Marion.
Thank you.
I don't really want to do a crashy bashy finish to the show. It just seems too important not, to just stay in this space. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of Gumper dust, and we'll take it from there. So we'll see you tomorrow morning, and wish you go well, you two. Go well, all you Gumpers. Have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Gumper
Thank
dust
you.
blessing on you now.
Thank you.